This week we're covering reading and writing to text files. I'm going to create a short video here that will help you understand the first part of the assignment here where you're going to read and write this zip code. Just to read the zip code and look for a certain zip code. We're going to do kind of the same thing with a Spanish to English dictionary file. It's all the way at the top. You right click on here and say save link as, and just save it to your desktop for now, just for an easy place to save it. Okay. I hit cancel, but you go ahead and hit save. And then open up a new project in Visual Studio. I call mine Spanish Translator. Okay. And then we have to bring that file from the folder here. CIS116 right here. Wherever you created that, okay, I created mine week 9. Here's my Spanish translator. What you have to do is you have to put that text file, keep double clicking all the way until you see the exe right here, okay, exe file, and then take and drag that Spanish English translator right there, okay, so it's right there. It has to be next to the Spanish translator.exe file for it to work, otherwise you have to give it a path. Switching back over into Visual Studio, if we want, we can actually take a look at that file. If you go to File, it's a little bit different on the computers at school, okay, but you can open File, and if I can go look in there, make sure it's still in there yet. There it is right there, okay. I can double click on there. You can actually see the text. As you can see, what it is this is all garbage up here. Don't worry about that. You have a word, and then you have a tab, and then you have the Spanish equivalent of that word. What we're going to do is we're going to read these into a structure, okay? Now, just kind of remember this. We've got 2 columns in our structure, okay? We're going to create an array of that structure. Let's create that structure. Structure, word, and we're going to have a English as string and dim Spanish as string, like that, okay? And then let's create a word array of that, dim words, okay? Notice how once again I use a plural, word and words, okay? And I'm going to make it big, and I'm going to make it -1, which is actually equal to 0, because we're going to make this dynamic, okay? And then as word, like that. So now I made an array of my structure. The next thing I'm going to need is I'm going to need a constant, okay, file name as string, and that's got to be equal to exactly like it is in your folder right here, okay, right there. I'm going to take and copy that. You don't have to. You can just take and type it in. But that's equal to Control V .txt. Make sure you do that exactly right there, okay? If you end up with errors in your program, chances are you either didn't type it right here or you didn't put the Spanish translation text in the right spot. Now I wrote a whole bunch of code for you. If you go to Blackboard, if you go to Where to Go if you don't know, and then reading and writing text files, and you scroll all the way down the bottom, here I have reading tab delimited. Don't try using one of these other ones. Don't use this one here, okay? Because these are tab delimited. Both the zip code and the Spanish English are tab delimited. So grab that reading tab delimited right there. And what do we got 2 columns. Zip code, if you look at that, you're going to be using this 3 column. We're using 3 column, okay? Because zip code, city and state. Here we just have Spanish and English word. So I'm going to copy the 2 column in this case. Make sure you don't paste it below the end module. Many students make that error, okay? Make sure it's between this sub and this end module. Paste it right in there just like that. Now when I created this for you, I created kind of a abstract function, okay? I didn't know what your structure name was going to be, okay? In this case, if we look at it here, here's my structure word. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to paste it right over this two-column structure, okay? In this case, it's not called two-column structure, so I have to change this like that. And that will fix that little error, okay? Now I have an error down here. It's not called column 1 as it was called. It's English and Spanish. To fix that, you double-click on column 1 like this, backspace, and here's your English right there. Make sure these are in the correct order, otherwise it'll be backwards. Same thing for this one here. Double-click, backspace, select the one that you want, like that. Okay, we talked about this a little bit in class. What this does, it creates an object of stream reader, okay? And it's called object stream reader. And then I take and point that object at the file name. That way it opens, it knows what file to open up. And then you loop through that file until peak is equal to -1. When peak is equal to -1, don't worry about what it is, don't worry about what peak is. All you have to know is that when it's a -1, then it stops the loop. It temporarily reads this line of text and puts it into this variable, and then it uses this split, okay, to create an array of strings that are divided by tab, okay? Once again, don't worry too much about how it works, just that it does work, okay? It resizes it and it adds those two there. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to call that function down here, and we're going to fill words with it, okay? Words is equal to, let's name the function read, right there it is, okay? I have to send it the file name. Being I created a constant, all I have to do is type in file name just like that. Beautiful. It's ready to run. You can run this right now. When you run it, okay, it's going to close it right down again like that, okay? And so you really aren't going to see anything happen, but you should be able to run it without an error. The next thing we want to do now is we want to have the user ask the computer for an English word, okay? So this is dim user input as a string like that, okay? And it's prompt the user console.write type in English word, and then read that in and put that into user input. It's equal to console.readline, like that. Okay, so now we get English word, okay? Now we have to take and we have to loop through all of our Spanish words, or excuse me, all of our words, okay? For, where is that? X as integer is equal to 0 to words dot length. What does that do? -1, of course. If words x dot English is equal to user input, then, okay? So in other words, if that English, this current one that we're looking at, if the English word is equal to that, then let's go ahead and print it something out. Console.writeLine. Let's put the English word first. Words x dot English. Okay, plus, and we'll put some like equals and plus and words dot Spanish. Oops, which one? X. Come on. Dot Spanish like that, okay. Beautiful. Go ahead and run it. Should be something like this. Type an English word, water. It's equal to agua. It's gone right away, okay. Let's take and create this because maybe we want to see several of them, okay. So let's create a loop here, okay. You want to start the loop here somewhere. We're reading it. Here we don't want to do it right here. Let's do it right above the type in English word right there, okay. Let's put a do and let's loop this all the way down the bottom here like this, okay. Loop while user input. Maybe we'll just say is not equal to exit. That, okay, because now we can loop many times, okay. So now if we run it, get something like this, water, agua, okay. Let's see, goodbye, G-Y. You gotta be careful, you don't use capital letters and don't use two words because that won't work. Adios, amigo, friend. Just like that, amigo, amiga. Type in exit, and it'll tell you the Spanish word for an exit, and it disappears just like that.